If you're still friends with your ex while you're in a new relationship, you're not just playing with fire. You're lighting a match and tossing it in your own future. You see, you say you're mature, right? Because you can stay friends? No, you're just emotionally undisciplined. You see, growth, it isn't proven by how many exes you can keep around. It's proven how quickly you can shut the door on what no longer serves your purpose. You're disrespecting the person who's trying to love you right now. And worse, you're training them to question your loyalty. Imagine giving your heart to someone only to find out that their ex still has season tickets to their emotions. Would you tolerate that? Would you be cool with your partner texting their ex happy birthday or venting to them after an argument with you? Absolutely not. So why are you justifying it when the shoe's on your foot? You don't need an old flame. You need a new fire. 1 Corinthians 13:11, it says, "When I became a man, I put away childish things." And let me translate that for your relationship. Put away the weak excuses, the old ties, the soft boundaries. Love is a commitment, not a collaboration with your past. Stop entertaining confusion and start protecting what you prayed for. But before we continue, I dropped this banger video that you must watch. It's about trusting God's perfect timing, especially when you're in a season of waiting and, nothing seems to make sense. Because sometimes the delay is the very thing that's protecting your destiny. And, oh, by the way, we recently hit 700 subscribers. It's crazy how, we grew this community from 430 subscribers to over 700 in just a matter of like a week and a half. So thank you for those who have subscribed. Your support, it means so much to me. And if you haven't yet subscribed, well, I'd like to have you around our community. So please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future banger videos. Thank you very much. And well, back to today's video. Why staying friends with your ex is ruining your current relationship. Let's be real. Some of you are scared to let go, not because they're still good for you, but because you still don't fully believe that you deserve better. That right there is the dangerous part. You're so used to crumbs that you get confused when someone finally brings you the whole meal. And, instead of sitting down and receiving that love, you're looking over your shoulder, wondering if you should still save a seat for your ex. And here's the crazy part. Some of you, you know your new partner feels uncomfortable about it. They've brought it up to you. They've questioned it. They've told you, hey, it bothers me that you're still talking to your ex. But you gaslight them with that classic line, you're just being insecure. Let me be the one to tell you, they're not. They're being intuitive, and they're picking up on what your pride won't let you admit, that you're not completely over them. How can your new partner trust your heart when it's still partially in someone else's hands? Matthew 6:24 says, no one can serve two masters. Now that verse, it wasn't just about money or religion. It's a principle. You can't give full devotion to one thing, while trying to maintain ties to another. You're either all in or you're double-minded, and double-minded people create double-hearted relationships. Understand that split loyalty equals split peace. You're not confused. You're just afraid to do what's necessary. Cutting off an ex isn't hard because of them. It's hard because of what they represented. Your past, your comfort zone, your ego, your identity. And letting go of that feels like letting go of a piece of yourself. But hear me clearly, the old you has to go for the healed version of you to rise. Understand that love is sacred. It's not a playground where everyone who's ever held your hand gets to come back and swing again. Love is exclusive. It's covenant, not convenience. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one sharpens another. That's not your ex. Your ex didn't sharpen you. They dulled your spirit, confused your heart, and now you want to give them, a seat at the table while someone new is trying to build a life with you. That's reckless. And here's a fun fact for you. You don't heal by staying connected to what hurt you. You don't grow by watering weeds. You don't find peace by scrolling through old photos at 2 a.m. You don't protect love by leaving open doors to people who, didn't protect your heart the first time. Let silence be your closure. Let distance be your boundary. Let healing be your decision. If you've been praying for something real, something God ordained, something peaceful, don't sabotage it by dragging old dysfunction into it. Don't turn your answered prayer into a confusing mess because you're still emotionally loyal to something that's expired. Loyalty, it's powerful, but only when it's placed in the right direction. The wrong loyalty, well, it'll keep you stuck. It'll keep you apologizing, to the wrong people and ignoring the ones who are actually trying to love you. Make no mistake, relationships, they don't die because of conflict. They die from divided attention. The person that you're with right now, they're the ones choosing to be with you right now. They deserve to feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. They shouldn't have to question if they're, competing with a ghost. They shouldn't feel like they're constantly being compared to someone you said was in your past. Amos 3:3 says, can two walk together unless they're agreed? You see, agreement means alignment, and alignment requires full commitment. So if your ex still has access or your future is on pause, you can't keep inviting your ex into your mind, your phone, or your conversations and expect your current relationship to flourish. You're trying to plant new seeds in a soil that still has roots from your last season. And that's why nothing's growing. If you want something real, you got to get real about what's holding space in your heart. Burn the bridge, mute the thread, hit block, not out of hate, but out of healing, not to be petty, but to be powerful. Because the most mature thing that you can do for your current relationship isn't to prove that you can still be friends with someone that you used to date. It's to protect the one that you're dating and choosing to love right now. And if none of this has gotten to you yet, let me ask you one thing. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that they'll move on if you cut them off? Well, hello, newsflash, they already did. You're the one that's still clinging to emotional leftovers, hoping for closure that was never coming. See, closure, it isn't something that they give you. It's something that you decide to give yourself. If you keep inviting your ex into your life, well, eventually your relationship is going to look like most sitcoms. Messy, dramatic, and, getting canceled mid-season because no one knows what the heck's going on. And trust me, no one wants to commit to someone who still plays pen pals with their past. Your current partner needs your presence, your consistency, and your commitment. And if you can't give them that because you're still playing emotional games with the past, then do them a favor. Step aside and stop wasting their time. There's nothing friendly about holding on to someone who had every chance to love you and still chose not to. That's not friendship. That's fear. And that fear is the enemy of progress. So do yourself a favor and walk forward. Cut the cord. Stop texting your ex. Stop watching their stories. Stop using "we ended on good terms" as your excuse to keep the doors open. Sometimes the strongest flex isn't moving fast. It's moving on fully, not halfway. Honor what's in front of you. And remember, you don't get healed by staying comfortable. You get healed by being honest. So be honest to your partner, to yourself. Because if you really want to grow, it starts with this. Closure isn't a conversation. It's a decision. So you got to make that decision today. If you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can hit that within the next 4 weeks or so. And if you enjoyed this video, well, the YouTube algorithm also suggests that you'd like one of these videos right here. So yeah, I'll catch you on one of these videos. Peace.